Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a dispute between nurses and the state government could be headed for a resolution, with reform in hospitals promised. Measures to address concerns over staffing and workloads will be implemented, but strike action has continued.
Wearied and overworked, rain was no challenge for nurses striding out of the Launceston General Hospital, calling for reinforcements as staff shortages bite.
Nurses are fearful that they're not providing safe patient care. I spoke with a colleague of mine today who's been a nurse for 41 years, and she said it's the worst that she has ever seen it.
This is the third hospital strike in the last week. The interruption and the threat of more winning concessions from the government.
We're listening, we're investing, and we're taking action.
The Premier announcing a range of measures aimed at easing the workload. Recently retired health staff will be offered a return to work bonus of $2,000. All UTAS nursing graduates will be guaranteed a place in the transition to practice program. Clinical support will be introduced in novice-heavy wards, as well as other measures.
We will be increasing antiviral access for Tasmanians over the age of 70 and those eligible by making available grant funding to GPs so that they or their practice nurse can preemptively review patients.
I think it's really positive that the government have listened to our members' concerns and have actually put forward a really detailed response in terms of solutions.
The offer was not contingent on the ANMF dropping its strike action. While they chose to push ahead today, the offer will be put to members in the coming days.
But certainly there's also some gaps that members feel are missing, and that is obviously around the retention and recognition of the existing nursing and midwifery workforce.
Active cases in the state sit at just over 5,000, around half of where they were only a fortnight ago. As we recover from this wave, the challenge is preparing better for the next one, expected to hit around Christmas.
So we anticipate over the next 2 to 3 years that Tasmania, in fact the nation if not globally, will experience rolling waves of COVID-19. And we have learnt a lot from the last 2 significant waves.
Strengthening our front line, a key priority. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Wild weather has wreaked havoc on roads across the state's north and west. Parts of the Bass Highway near Deloraine were underwater, with the northwest seeing 20 millimetres of rain since 9 a.m. Sections of the West Tamar Highway were closed after a tree fell on power lines near Exeter. Police are urging motorists to drive with caution. Murph will have more weather news later in the bulletin. Shape up or ship out. That's the message being given to the state government about our Antarctic operations. Hobart's local councils want upgrades to Macquarie Wharf finalised to prevent the loss of valuable economic activity. The state government says while it has plans, it will need federal support.
A welcome addition to our local fuel security. With 40% of Tasmania's fuel passing through Selfs Point, a major fire could bring the state to a halt. Gushing at 150 litres a second from a 3 million litre tank, this new mixture of foam and water is predicted to have instant results.
When we mix the foam with that, our trial was about 30 seconds of foam. We'd actually had covered the whole wharf and the area around it.
It's a fantastic result for our business and also our customers and for Tasmania.
But as this upgrade was being launched, questions were being raised down the river. Hobart's 4 councillors warning Macquarie Wharf needs urgent upgrades to continue hosting the Noina. The Lord Mayor says our status as the Antarctic gateway could be sunk.
And the first step is a port that works, where our own polar ship, but also polar ships from other countries can actually tie up.
Businesses say the 50-year-old wharf is in dire need of extra space and modern amenities.
There's been degradation of the wharf and the wharf face and wharf deck over the last couple of decades.
Infrastructure Australia classing it as an early stage proposal, with early estimates pricing the plan at $240 million. The Deputy Premier hoping the Commonwealth will find the funds to float it.
We would certainly be hopeful in the federal budget upcoming in October, or perhaps next year's federal budget.
We're also a commercial business and we need to make sure that our infrastructure investments are bankable.
In a statement, Australian Antarctic Division head Kim Ellis says having a port and wharf that can meet seasonal demands of ours and international polar operations is a must if Hobart wants to be an effective gateway to the south. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The National Royal Commission into Defence and Veterans Suicides has continued its hearings in Hobart. Executives from Tasmania's RSL were among those to give evidence. The state's chief executive says they would love to have more information about those who leave the service to help direct them to available support.
I know there's privacy issues of how we deal with this, but if we can make contact, if we can take that first step, it just lets them know that, hey, we're out there, instead of just getting a piece of paper that says, oh, if you like, contact these people.
The hearings will continue tomorrow. The West Coast has been uncovered as the worst hotspot for surging rental increases and stagnant wages. The 3-year analysis released for Homelessness Week showed the region's prices jumped by 18.7%. Burnie and the East Coast were also among the locations that saw a major spike. Tasmania is about to host one of its highest profile soccer matches in history when the Devonport Strikers take on A-League side Wellington Phoenix in the Australia Cup. Let's cross now to Tom Johnson at Valley Road. Good evening to you, Tom. It's a huge night, but there's been a lot of rain. How's the pitch holding up?
Good evening, Kim. Yes, you're right. We've had a deluge here in Devonport today, but I'm pleased to report the ground is looking an absolute treat. Look, it'll be soggy, but it'll also be a massive spectacle. It is an enormous night for the club, a showpiece on the international stage and also a chance for locals to witness some history. This is the first time a Tasmanian team has ever played against an A-League side, and the bonus is it's happening right here at Valley Road. A short time ago, we caught up with the Devonport Strikers president, Drew Smith. Let's have a listen now. Drew, it's an exciting night ahead for the club. Can you explain how significant this is for the Devonport Strikers?
It's a huge opportunity. It's probably once in a lifetime opportunity for most of our players, I'd suggest. So to play an A-League team in Tasmania at Valley Road, it doesn't get much bigger than that for a club like Devonport or for football in Tasmania, honestly. So it's an enormous opportunity.
Yeah, it certainly is. And how many tickets have you sold and how many are you hoping to sell?
So we're up at around the 1,700 mark at the moment. So we're looking for a crowd of between 3,000 and 5,000. Now that will be a little bit weather dependent, but beautiful night here at Valley Road. We're in between fronts at the moment, and I don't think there's any rain forecast until 11 o'clock, so everyone make their way down to Valley Road.
And Drew's right, it is beautiful conditions at the moment, and everyone here believes in miracles and thinks the Devonport Strikers can cause the massive upset over Wellington Phoenix. We'll be back here before kick-off, of course, Kim, with all the day's sport news, so looking forward to having another chat soon.
OK, we'll see you then. Thanks very much, Tom. Pembroke by-election candidate Luke Edmonds is calling for an upper house inquiry into power prices. The Clarence City Councillor and Labor candidate says it would be his highest priority if he wins the race to replace Joe Seeker next month.
A proper inquiry to get to the bottom of what's going on with power prices in Tasmania, because people on the doors know about this 12% figure and they're not happy about it.
Our job is to go into Parliament and debate the issues. The biggest issue for Tasmanian families at the moment is the rising cost of living.
Labor had planned to debate a cap on power prices in the lower house next week before Parliament was postponed by the government. The completion of a $40 million sustainable shopping facility has delivered a much-needed jobs boost for Tasmanians. In a milestone move for development in the state, Glebe Hill Village is Hobart's first new retail centre in a decade.
From the ground up, 15 months in the making, the finishing touches were the only thing left to do.
The last sort of 36 hours have been pretty incredible here in terms of what you can see now versus where they're going to be.
Thousands of jobs were generated throughout the Glebe Hill Village construction and now at completion.
Over 100 new jobs to this cold store alone, and out of those 100 we've had 17 new Indigenous employees as well, which is super exciting.
With a plan to transform shopper experience through a pioneering app dedicated to the centre.
We've had over 900 people downloaded already. It allows you to book appointments here for whether it be a haircut or for a massage.
It delivers real-time updates on the building's environmental status.
How much solar that we've created versus how much we're using. We've got a full solar array on the roof which powers everything you see here.
The Howrah site is home to the first liquor land in the state, with Tasmanian beverages front and centre.
Just over about 320 lines of local Tasmanian products, spanning across about 60 suppliers, and that'll be ever growing as well, so we're keen to get more in as time progresses.
Finding local produce is also being made easier for shoppers. You just need to look for brand Tasmania. A partnership with the state government means the trademark has been placed on all homegrown products.
First Coles brand new supermarket in the last 12 years, and just really excited to have the doors finally open, have customers flowing through.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians are being encouraged to dig out their finest family heirlooms for the experts to assess as part of QV Mag's Curators in the Pub series. The museum will try to find gems from junk, hoping to ignite conversation around the history of people's favourite antique objects.
Some things that come out of the woodwork sometimes that people will show us, that they say, oh, are you interested in this? And we'll say, wow, I've been looking for one of those for years. So it's going to be completely random, and there will be some stuff I probably don't know about.
The forgotten stories of sporting clubs are also being explored as part of the free event series, which kicks off tomorrow. The next generation of tourism leaders has gathered as the sector charts its course post-COVID. Tourism and hospitality professionals from 29 organisations have begun the 8-week Tasmanian Leaders Program.
So we've just done a morning session on talking about adaptive leadership and dealing, I guess, with complexity, uncertainty, ambiguity.
Tourism and hospitality is a product that's emotional, so making sure that we're just not too focused on business and that we continue to think about our customers' feelings.
The program is supported by the federal group and state growth.
Good evening from Valley Road, where the Devonport Strikers are about to take on Wellington Phoenix in the Australia Cup. It may sound like a David and Goliath clash, but the home side says a boil-over isn't out of the question. Fortress Valley Road, a place long feared by NPL rivals, becomes enemy territory of trans-Tasman proportions.
Essentially like a North Launceston in the AFL State League playing against Essendon or a Richmond.
Except there's genuine belief Devonport's underdogs can pull off the biggest upset in the club's history by sinking Wellington Phoenix in the Cup's round of 32 clash.
They're very early on in their pre-season, which is good for us. We're deep into our season. They've got a few guys that have come into their squad and may not be 100% match fit.
Strikers skipper Kieran Mulroney could hold the key to success if he contains Costa Barbarouses, Wellington's danger man, who recently re-signed with the Kiwi club after playing in Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne. But some of the local boys also have targets on their backs.
Robert Fernandez, Ali Dullah, these are players that they rely on heavily. We also know in defence that the team is very well disciplined. 12 clean sheets in the season, first in the league, so they're not going to be an easy opponent. I think it'll be quite a challenging game tonight.
Despite heavy rain this week, we're unlikely to see another episode of mudball like we did at the Cup in 2016. Now the ground's been resurfaced. The club hopes it'll be pitch perfect for the thousands of fans expected to fill temporary seating put up especially for the clash.
It's massive advantage in terms of noise, volume, feel, home changing room, those things are huge.
Will it be enough to put a strike through the Phoenix? Rebecca Van Ash began her women's triples campaign in fine style, steering the Jackaroos to a comprehensive 22-11 victory over Singapore. As we saw earlier, one of the big stars of the night was Ariane Titmus, who made Commonwealth Games history, becoming the first Australian to win back-to-back gold medals in the 800 metres freestyle since Tracy Wickham 40 years ago. Titmus also clocked a Commonwealth Games record time of 8 minutes 13.59. And plenty of Tasmanians are in action on day 6 of the Games tonight. It's headlined by more Ariane Titmus, this time in her pet event, the 400 metres freestyle, starting with the heats. Sam Fox will make his debut in the mountain biking. Rebecca Van Ash continues in the group stage of the women's triples up against the Falkland Islands and South Africa. And Eddie Ockenden and Josh Belts return for the Kookaburras against South Africa. An under-strength Tornadoes outfitted Mets defence let the side down on the weekend. Launceston let a crucial game slip against Waverley, dropping to 7th on the table.
We know defence wins games, so it's always been a focus for us. We were definitely undersized on the weekend. It's hard when you've got a team that has quite a few talls and we're quite small on the court.
American import Kelsey Griffin may play against Sandringham this weekend, but that depends on how she recovers from a recent stint overseas.
Good evening. Well, we have seen already in the news tonight the aftermath of what happened today with today's weather, but of course parts of the state, particularly the east and southeast, didn't cop any at all. Hobart and Flinders Island our top today with 17 degrees, Launceston and Burnie 14, Devonport 15 degrees. Now under the cloud, temperatures sat just above average, Bushy Park and Friendly Beaches 16, King Island, Smithton, St Helens and Grove 15, Low Head and Strawn 14. Most of the rain today, as mentioned, over the north to 9 a.m, 75 millimetres fell at or probably in Lake Mackenzie in the Central Highlands, while today 48 millimetres the best at Hummocky Hills, 38 millimetres at Kimberley, Deloraine 33 millimetres, and those readings only to 3 p.m. There's been plenty more since. Now here's the bigger cloud picture. Plenty over the nation's south, as we know, the rain band over us, with another over Western Australia reaching into central parts. Tomorrow the complex low continues its presence over the Eastern Bight region south of Adelaide. A trough sits over southern Northern Territory into southwest Queensland. Winds reaching 35 knots early over the west, with strong northwesterlies over all waters tomorrow, swells to 4.5 metres. Gale warning for waters between Low Rocky Point and Stanley, a strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters along with the southwest lakes. We have a moderate flood warning now for the Meander and minor flood warnings for the Macquarie, Mersey and North Esk rivers. Now into tomorrow we go. Partly cloudy for Hobart, 16 the top, 16 for Cygnet, maybe a shower developing, a shower or two for New Norfolk, 16 the high as well. Launceston 15 with showers, more showers for Devonport, 14 the top, and Campbelltown those showers easing. Burnie tomorrow showery, 13, 14 the top for Strawn, wet for Smithton, 14 degrees as well. And for St Helens 15 with showers easing, maybe a shower for Swansea, 16 the top and 14 for Fingal. On Friday, showers over the north and west extending statewide in the afternoon, possible thunderstorms over the northeast. Showers on Saturday, mostly contracting to the east by evening, and on Sunday a few scattered showers mainly over the east and southeast. Further north, 17 and showery for Perth and Adelaide. Melbourne a shower as well. Storms with heavy falls in Canberra, 15 the top there tomorrow. 21 and showers in Sydney, but further north, fine, clear, sunny conditions to prevail. Partly cloudy in Hobart, 13 at the moment. Cloudy in Launceston, 11 degrees, mostly cloudy in Devonport and 12 degrees.
And that is all your news for now, but stay with us. The Birmingham Commonwealth Games is next. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night.